Anyone? Anyone want to take it up? Looks like everyone is here with the open mind. So let's get started. Yes, we can get started with the questions. Okay, yes, we already have first question. Let's get started. BA and SM left the company midway. Developers and testers were changed with other team members. Firefighting is going on to fix the bugs and get sign off on UAT. How to deal as a new Scrum Master in this scenario? Excellent scenario question of the challenge, tricky situation. Let's get started. Who would like to take it up? Come on, let's assume this is your interview question asked. You as a new Scrum Master, how do you handle the situation? And in case you're joining for the first time, this is an open forum. To everyone is, we want each of you to come up and share your thoughts, perspectives. Yes, Vasdevan, please go ahead.
This is not a new scenario. When I took up the job as Scrum Master for Equinity, that was the situation. Scrum Master has left and the project was hanging. There was no BA. The BA has left, but eventually there is no BA. So we had 2 developers and 2 more developers are yet to be hired. And they got 2 testers from other team. So somewhat a similar situation. Firefighting only, I brought order to the first as a Scrum Master. I interacted with the team and I brought order through the events. Events was missing because Scrum Master has left, there was no event happening. So all the events were put in place. All the members are asked to attend all the events so that I can bring discipline and order into the place. Then on I developed on slowly introducing one process after another. And then it took me almost 8 months to bring the table to steady state. By the time the new developers were also came and the BA and the product owner, everybody was aligned. So to make it a self-sufficient or a self-organized team, so it took me some time, quite some time. What process I followed was, first I brought in the events and make sure that everybody attends the events and everybody track their work in Jira and make sure that they update and they speak in the events. Just quiet, nothing is going to happen. And I ask them to be transparent. If they are saying that I have not done this, by keeping quiet, we will not know. Rather, I have not done this because of this reason. And I need one more day because my environment is not working. My local environment got crashed. My machine has some issues. Whatever the issues may be, please bring it up into the table. We'll raise it as an impediment in Jira and track it. So this is how I brought them into the order. First, I brought them discipline and then I bring the order in the place and slowly they started following it. And actually, they got really good rewards with that. So we all got a good raise in our appraisal this year. And also some people have been nominated for Icon Awards and things like that. Our project got selected for the awards. So velocity was at 10. Now it is at around 45.
Wow. In the span of 8 months?
In span of 1 year.
1 year.
Last March to this April.
Okay. That's excellent information and insights.
Churn rate, burn rate, and lead time and cycle time has been improved. They were used to close the tickets for 40 days, 45 days for one Jira tick, one Jira user story. Now they have brought it down to 5. That means that whatever the points they're taking, they're almost finishing it within the points. And the testing was parallelly happening, rather sequentially happening. It's like waterfall. After the developer is developed, and then they started testing. Now that was removed, and parallelly testing is also going on. So the moment the team finishes the Jira user story, it goes to the tester. So these are all the improvements that I brought in, and it is giving some good benefits as well. Hello.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for sharing your experience, Vasudevan. And one small point or add-on question, if I want to ask on top of it, right? So, what the support or the involvement from the leadership team in this context from your side, or how you got that the approval or their involvement, the leadership involvement in this current context from your side?
When we started, we were not having any agile leadership team or agile delivery team was there. Slowly, that was also formed along, and we were all being brought under one umbrella of agile delivery. And in that, both the delivery managers, project managers, and scrum masters are all in that one umbrella, so that there were guidance by the agile coaches, and leadership team from the top management took it seriously, and then they guided us, and they gave us enough support. They were backing the scrum masters and saying that, see, scrum master is not here to do command and control. They are part of your team. They are going to take you, guide you through the journey. Not they are not going to do any micromanagement or something like that. So that's the support I got from my leaders and leadership team. And the even the MD of the company used to participate in the stand-ups and ask questions. That level the participation was there, and when there is issues, we were being guided and rectified. So that is all about. So that's the support that, and also they were flexible on the budgets.
To get the new developers, the new team members.
See, they gave enough time, and then they brought in people from US to give KTs, necessary KTs at the necessary time, so that there should be a smooth transition. That is what. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Sure, thanks. And hi, Ashwin. Hi, Naresh. Hi, Shashank and Samir. Welcome. I could see one go to type the question, but let's. Anyone want to add any pointers for this question before we get the next question?
Let me share my thoughts.
Sure.
In terms of experience, hi, this is Sharath here. In terms of experience, fortunately, I never faced this, but let me share my thoughts. See, there won't be a situation where a BA or SM leaves midway without any notice, right? It's very, very, very rare. So usually we have a culture of maintaining the KT as well as the documentation, continuous KT as well as maintaining the documentation, right? So which will help in terms of in times of correct situations like this, where if they want to leave the company in the middle, at least whatever the KT that they give or the documentation that they have prepared, that will be transitioned to the new scrum master, so that he can be avoided from that risk. That is one situation which a senior scrum master, maybe those kind of titles might not be there, but the scrum master who is there in the company for longer time need to maintain all this kind of discipline, so that it won't be any issue for any of the existing or new scrum masters, right? So that is one what you say proactive actions which scrum master can take. With respect to the developers and testers getting often changed, it happens when you work with vendors, right? Usually they do these kind of things, in terms of billing or some other scenarios where they want to put people in other projects. But a consistent communication should be there from the vendors to that organization. That can you guys be able to hear me, or any voice issue?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Audible. Okay. So there should be consistent communication from the vendor to that organization. I mean, whichever project people, that these are the people we are planning to change for this purpose, so that advanced communication will help avoid these kind of risks, right? Where it won't impact the delivery. So you need to manage the communication in such a way that it should not impact the delivery. And say, for example, they didn't communicate, sorry, to the to the project team that they are changing the team. So one time we can accept that that is a learning curve for them. Next time they should not repeat, so that it should not affect the overall delivery, whether it's bug fixing or development or anything. Okay, that can be maintained in a proper manner, so that it won't affect the overall delivery. So these are the two scenarios. The third scenario is where you are the only scrum master, because it's a small startup where there is no senior scrum master, no one there. These people left and you are softly landed into that, what to say, uh, whatever crisis situation. So in that situation, you know as a new scrum master, you may not be able to do much, but what you can immediately do is you can talk to the senior management who has hired you, to help them to understand the current situation, right? Just to acknowledge yourself that they also know the situation, right? Because they also know that B and SM has left, right? So that have a consistent dialogue of where we are, and through communication, just take some time, understand the blockers. These are all blockers, right? What can be the probable solutions, right? Or you can talk to your peer mentors or whoever, take their help to how to handle this situation, and try to address the situation to your best. That is where your capabilities come out, right? Acha, even though he's a new scrum master, he's not looking like a new scrum master. He has shown his capabilities in addressing those issues. So this is how you can deal with this situation. But yes, this is a very good question. If the interviewer asks whatever I told you, probably you can condense that, and probably these are the different ways I can handle. Okay. Also, those are my thoughts. Others can add.
Anyone else want to add before we go to the next question? Might be getting some echo from my side, but she's. Are you good with the first question? It's like silent participants today. Let's move ahead. As a SM, how did you implement lean thinking in your project? Before that, what is lean? Let's start with that. And then we can address the question. As a Scrum Master, how did you implement lean thinking in your project? Who would like to take it up? Suresh, Yogasundar? Yes,
maybe. So lean thinking or lean is a concept which came out of the manufacturing, basically out of Toyota. So from there, like, it came into software development. So along with Agile and Scrum, like, there was lean thinking always for the last 30-40 years back. So it is more to deal with how to reduce wastage, how to reduce rework, and how to prioritize and work on the most important item, and reduce defects, and with less effort and getting the maximum outcome. So it may not be the theoretical definition, but lean is more of a manufacturing concept where trying to reduce the inventory or reduce the work in progress. So Kanban and other the Scrum framework and tools are also born out of lean manufacturing and lean thinking actually. So my suggestion, initially what comes to my mind when it comes to implementing lean thinking is more to do with prioritization, like implementing MVP, starting with the prioritization techniques would be one approach or recommendation.
Thanks for that. Anyone else?
Can I go ahead, Satish? Is it
Yes,
echo?
yes. No, yeah, you're good. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So when it comes to lean thinking, so lean is, as he mentioned, eliminating waste and prioritization. That is true. Lean, from my perspective, is like going into the system level, trying to identify where and all the most important gaps are there. For an example, design implementation is not there. So because of that, lots of design changes is happening. So we need to streamline the design. So if CI/CD pipeline is not there, that's the first and foremost important thing to look into it. So that, from dev to SIT to UAT to staging to prod, the sync will happen, and the production deployment will happen. I mean, the deployment will happen from one environment to another in a sequential way. So from that perspective, lean is to identify what is the most pressing problem that is happening across the system, take one across the system, and trying to find which one needs to be fixed first, and then fix it so that team can that itself is help the team to eliminate waste. So that team can able to work effectively and do the deployments and do unit testing or coding, whichever is there. Trying to identify the gap areas, trying to fix those. Thanks, Sir Satish.
Thanks for that, Sundar. And congrats for your new job. Before you go ahead.
Thanks, Satish. Thanks, Satish. I was just trying to get a lot of support from you people. So I was just a little worried at the earlier stage. So I just pinged you by pinged Satish ji. So thanks all for.
Sure.
Congrats.
Okay, yes. Anyone else want to go ahead? I have a couple of pointers. Yes, please.
Shiva here, yeah.
Yes, Shiva.
Yeah. So the lean, first of all, in the question it is mentioned it's a project. So Agile never work on project. When you say project, it is an end-to-end, right? So we never work on end-to-end in one shot. See, we work only for the part of the project. So if as a Scrum Master, if I want to apply lean to my deliverables, right? So first, the Scrum Master has limits. It cannot reach out to all the places. But still, in our ceremonies, in our day-to-day activities, we should understand what are the tedious jobs the teams are doing, what are the repetitive jobs the teams are doing, how much team members are spending the time unnecessary in meetings. Instead of 1 hour, if they're spending, for example, if a DSM itself is 15 minutes, if they're spending 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, let us understand why are they spending more hours, where are they spending, and who is hijacking the calls, right? We need to understand each call, each ceremony is here. So if anything which is more repetitive, let's understand to make it more automative. Like, for example, capacity tracker is one example where the Scrum Masters will spend more time. I've seen daily they spend time with the team member and understand how much the team member has a capacity and how much we need to load. So I'm an RT. So what I do, I have an 8 Scrum Masters and 12 Scrum teams. So I have an automated Excel sheet in a OneDrive. So I have a master sheet and I've created each team's one capacity trackers. Whenever they update in their capacity, it will update in my consolidated capacity tracker, so that I'll get it as an entire arts capacity, each team level, so that I have automated it. Earlier, the team members, the Scrum Masters were spending more time, and also RTs were spending more time. So this is how we can reduce the time, we can reduce the efforts of team members. So we can convert them into more productive. And also identified that each team in the entire month spending more than 80 hours, 90 hours. There were team lead call, there are tech lead call, there are associate delivery managers calls. The same call like code review, 3-4 people are doing in a separate call. So we merge those calls. So we have to identify such repetitive calls where team has unnecessary spending effort. So as a Scrum Master, I'm telling all this, like even again, when it goes to the project managers, product owners, we can reduce different way. But as a Scrum Master, we can identify these first.
Thanks, Shiva. Definitely some valuable pointers. Yes.
Shiva, so sir, you're an RT and you're using that consolidated Excel sheet. I'm also kind of playing a role of an RT, but I'm finding it difficult to bring that capacity. How did you manage it, sir?
If you have an OneDrive, right, there you can create your one sheet.
Okay.
And you can upload all the other teams' Excel sheet there. And just Google it, because I cannot show my company's data as confidential, right?
Yes.
And also we're in healthcare. So just Google it, like in your master sheet, and next to the team level, I will have a cell, right? Click the equal to and switch to the view and select the data from the other sheet. So whenever they change the data, it will reflect in your sheet.
Okay, fine. Got it.
Sheet by sheet it is.
Okay. One more thing, you are following by hours or by story points?
Story points.
Story points. Okay.
So I never recommend people to create subtask and hours. So we never monitor that level.
Okay, fine. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Shiva. Thanks, Vasudevan, for that follow-up question. We have a follow-up question in the chat. Samira there. But before going that, anyone else want to add any pointers regarding this lean thinking as a Scrum Master? How did you implement? Okay, so let me add pointers from my side. Lean, as initially was mentioned, right? So it is by default initially created in the manufacturing to minimize the waste or delays or the gaps happening. So Samir, to your question, it is not mandatory to implement lean thinking in Scrum, but implementing lean thinking in Scrum or Kanban or any aspect, whether it is a project, product, or Scrum, for any approach, any methodology, any framework, having that lean thinking helps any point of time. Right? So, as a Scrum Master, we might have a limited scope of stakeholders or the where we can influence. Right. As an RT, it might be different. As an agile coach, it might be different. As a project manager or architect, it might be different. But as a Scrum Master, our scope might be limited, or our scope might be to some extent from the team members or the stakeholders perspective. So, couple of ways how we can implement lean or improve. Again, why implementing lean? It is end of the day, it is to help the team improve their way of working or improve their deliverables. As Vasudevan mentioned for the previous question, it is to help the team improve their deliverables and end-to-end lead time or the cycle time. So all these things, it will come from the bringing up that lean thinking thought process to our team. So I generally recommend or refer to this control chart, irrespective of whether it is a Scrum or Kanban project. I typically recommend using this control chart within Jira. And as you can see here, we have 11 issues. For those 11 issues, 4 days, 17 hours is the average time coming down. So this is the current context. So it is showing for the duration. We can choose the duration, the time frame and everything. We can figure out what's the current context of the team and how we can help the team improve their end-to-end implementation aspects. So let me quickly switch to an Excel sheet. Let me stop sharing for a moment. You're able to see the Excel now?
Yes, Satish.
Okay. So what I generally do is like I will Jira again as a tool, it is having a very limited functionality or limited capabilities. So just this Excel I prepared just for the discussion perspective. So let's assume the 10 issues, it took 5 days, 23 hours. So what's the reason or the logic for the team from end to end, starting from the coding, testing, designing, bug reviews, or the code reviews and the code merge, everything end to end? Let's assume it took 5 days, 23 hours of time. And I'm assuming this is for a Q1. So now, what is that as a team? It's not our role as a Scrum Master, but it is our role as a Scrum Master to help the team identify where it is taking more time, or is there any way they can improve their way of working. Example, maybe they might be doing manual merge, the code merge, that itself might be taking time. So is there any way to implement that automation? Or they might be doing that manual testing or functional testing. Is there any way to do the automation? Or the code reviews at times might be taking time. There could be multiple steps where that 5 days, 23 hours on average was taken. So we can ask the team, let's go through and identify where it is taking time, or how we can improve, or where we can improve. What is that approach we as a team can take to improve our way of working? So let me unhide these columns. So what, by doing a specific detailed analysis with one of the team or some of the teams, what we observed is like, so these are the stages or the phases of the workflow which we defined. And as you can see, analysis took this much of time in coding or in testing, in review. So we observed that more than the coding and testing and analysis, the review was taking time. Right. For that specific team, the review could be done within the 4 hours or 6 hours, something like that. But the team was taking 3 days of time. It's again average. So we started having a conversation team. The 5 days, 23 hours, the moment we published this information, the manager came back and mentioned, hey, 5 days, 23 hours within a 2 week sprint is a good time. We are good. No improvement. We don't need any improvement. Boss, that's not the case. Take a look at your detailed information. In review, what is it taking the team to spend double the effort or double the time for more than their coding or more than their testing? Right? So we opened the forum, the team started identifying their discussions. Then this is for Q2. So the Q2, the team started improving their coding or the review. And for Q3, the same 4 days, 2 hours, the team started complete 20 hours from 10 issues per quarter. Again, just the example numbers, right? So the same duration, the team was able to complete the double the issues. It's not to improve the velocity, it's not to improve anything, but it indirectly improved the time taken to bring the new functionality to the customers. And obviously the results started reflecting, and the customer satisfaction, everything started improving, right? So there are different ways, like how this is one way how we can bring in that lean implementation or lean thinking within the projects. Right? Are you good with this context? Samir, does this answer your question as well? Okay.
Yeah, Satish, you're done. I will share maybe.
Yeah, yes, Sharat, I'm done.
Okay. So over and above what a Scrum Master can do in terms of his basic roles and responsibilities, right? People often look for what extra that a Scrum Master can do. Obviously, in terms of making a difference, right? Apart from the normal responsibilities, that is where people start looking at these, lean ways of thinking or lean ways of implementing things, right? So I think there is an opportunity at every stage. I think most of the things people have covered. Say for example, when it comes to the discovery phase, right? Usually, product owners talk to a lot of people to get the voice of customers, and they go through multiple channels to get the new requirements what they need. During that time also, if they don't plan correctly, the discovery phase itself takes a lot of time. So we can in some organizations they allow, or in some organizations they don't allow that collaboration. We can travel with the product owners to see what are the core areas that they can focus on, so that we can help them work on those core areas and try to reduce the discovery phase, that the entire timeline they were trying to do that. So this is one of the practices which we can bring in. Then when it comes to the requirement stage, it's all about tools and processes, right? How lean your product backlog is. Suppose there are a lot of you have identified around 100 features, and there were around 2000 stories where there is lack of focus, right, on the product backlog itself. So how can you make the backlog lean, right? Along with how you can best prioritize, as someone has told earlier. So these steps will help us to pass through the requirement stage very well, and that will help us to streamline the process at that stage well. Then when it comes to the designs, we need to ensure that how we people can make the lean designs in the sense whatever is that is needed at that point of time for the to build for that sprint or for the next 2 sprints, right? So what I want to say is lean uh, what to say lean journeys. Suppose I want to make payment for a particular item, right? Today there are 8 steps which I need to go through, right from when I recognize that item, when it goes to picking the order, making the payment, and then acknowledging and reaching the customer. How can you make the user journeys much simpler, right? That is also one opportunities where you can, of course, product owners will be aware, but that is where you can also participate, increase your product knowledge and help in those aspects, right? Then with respect to development, whatever the engineering practices that we usually emphasize for that, right? Whatever we can implement, not all the engineering practices listed, right? Suppose test automation, right? So those kind of areas where it can bring that value, right? We need to think of those areas. And then someone has already mentioned the entire CI/CD pipeline. If it is not already built yet, how we can build that and help people, right? And yeah, and any other non-value added activities. Every organization has its own customized way of delivering things, right? End to end. Some organizations follow mixed way of delivering projects, where they still have the traditional approvals, this and that. So if you find those approvals taking a lot of time, how we can make those avoided to certain extent, where we can make them lean. So every time you need to walk closely through the processes and tools that you are using, and see how you can make the difference. So that's how you can introduce a lot of lean things. And of course, if you are working using Kanban ways of working, it itself gives you a lot of avenues to bring that difference. So these are my couple of thoughts. So Scrum Master Agile coach has to look holistic perspective, not only from the Agile perspective, from the product perspective, from the tech perspective, from the operations perspective, and if our project is linked to the other like finance, supply chain, and other. So you have to look closely all those areas, understand the business process, and see how you can make suggest or make those improvements if you are given opportunity. So you need to have a 360-degree view, and actually it's an opportunity for you. You should not treat it as, okay, I'm getting involved in too many things. My role is defined here only. You should not think like that. Right? Growth mindset should be there.
Thanks, Sharath. Are you good with this question? How to implement lean thinking in the project? Will you go ahead? Okay. The next question. SM has recently joined a mid-sized service-based organization. During the meetings with customers, a member of sales team is constantly escalating minor issues to the management, such as the way SM talks or presents slides. How does a new Scrum Master survive in this situation? Wow, word survive plays a key role in this context. Yes. Yes, the floor is open. Would like to take it up.
Can we see the full question? I'm seeing only half
Yeah,
question.
it is a little confusing.
Yeah, I guess let me unpick. Now, is it both the questions are clear? It's a continuation. I mean, it's came as two questions, but it's the same question.
Okay.
So it looks like this is a cultural issue, Satish. So, I think it is best for the Scrum Master to understand the culture, the interpersonal aspect of the company team, be in observation mode, not react, and he needs to build the relationship with all the critical stakeholders and understand like what is the context rather than taking things personally, and based on that he needs to start working out. In some cases it might be the case that he may not be able to influence the stakeholders to change, or but one thing is like it's more context specific actually. So but I do see there's a lot of interpersonal and cultural aspect involved here, rather than just me being able to give a straightforward recommendation.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Shall I add a point, Satish?
Sure.
Yeah. How does a new Scrum Master survive? First of all, this is my typical scenario that in my previous company, mid-size service-based organization. The mid-size service-based organization, a lot of time what happens, the organization product owner is on top, and the people hierarchy level, people will be on top. Scrum Master is always kind of a kind of a coordinator or a facilitator perspective. So from that perspective, whatever we fight, it is not going to work out. So the best way to solve the problem is probably get a rapport with a particular person and see what exactly the pain problem that he's having, and somehow play a role of I will help you to solve the problem. But it is basically, as he said, it's a culture problem and it's a hierarchy problem as well. So when we are in the position, so all we need to do is to find a way for the survival of the fittest. So that from my perspective it is. And we also need to have a data point with us. So that is also more important. So when it comes to, it is mostly, it will be like a issues or a delays or is happening. So when it comes to that, we need to have a clear data point in maybe in an Excel sheet or something where we say, this is where the issue happened. This is how the impact of the issue. And, we will be trying to resolve this, and probably we'll be having similar set of issue that is resolved earlier. We will also try to resolve this in 1 day or 2 days. We'll be showing some kind of a data point where we are precise to the point, and most importantly, be confident of, every problem is not, the team's problem. Every problem is not Scrum Master's problem. So the problem will happen. That is why we are doing the project. So we just have, we need to explain it in such a way. Plus, we need to have a data points. We have a clear database before going to any kind of a meeting. We need to have a clear data points in the Excel sheet saying that this is what exactly it is. We will be working on it to resolve it.
Well
Yeah,
said, Yoga.
thanks.
Well said. Every problem is not the Scrum Master's problem. We need to be more vigilant. That's well said. And here it surprised me, like Scrum Master talking to customers and sales team directly without any product owner, and I don't know how it's happening typically. But whatever, I echo with the Yoga. I don't want to talk much on this. Good answer.
Yes, Nirmala, raise your hand.
Yeah, just to add on, I do agree on the points whatever is being discussed. But if I'm understanding the question correctly, it is something member of the sales team is constantly escalating on the small issues to management, mainly on the Scrum Master, how they talk, how they present the slides. So most of the times we try to think as a Scrum Master or our perspective. Maybe we can also think from their perspective. Are we can introspect, is there any something where I need to improve? But if you can think from that perspective and if you are satisfied, that is fine. Otherwise, we can see is there any improvements, we can work on it. So we can consider that as one of the constructive feedback for our growth. If you have to revisit something, we need to work upon.
I think he has divided the question. That's why I think somewhere I misunderstood. So he's
No, it
complaining
was,
the way SM talk or present the slides also.
yes.
Okay, then that's a different scenario. Others go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so here the context was a mid-sized service-based organization. So when you say mid-sized, definitely the role might be defined or tagged as a Scrum Master, but they might be expecting something else as well from the Scrum Master, maybe as a project manager or some additional things. So that could be, again, based on the context, based on the pointer, that could be or might be the situation where they're expecting that specific individual to play additional roles or different roles or take up additional responsibilities. So first step is to identify or understand what is it the sales team is expecting, or what is it the reason they're escalating. It's not about individual. We need to understand that it's not nothing to do with that individual or anything else. So the way we are presenting, if they're escalating, what it means, they might be expecting something else, or they might be following some specific format or standards or guidelines, or they might be expecting some other information instead of what we are presenting. So as just now Nirmala mentioned, we need to figure out whatever we are presenting or whatever we are sharing, is it really relevant to the participants? Here the participants is a sales team. So the information which you, if you just go and say, hey, my team completed 10 stories or 50, they achieved 50 story points as a velocity, it might not be relevant to the sales team. They might be expecting how many features are completed or by when this feature might get go merged with the production, or they might be expecting some other information. So we need to be ready, or we need to understand their context, and we need to prepare, or we need to share that information. So start interacting with the sales team and have a conversation. And the context is one of the member of the sales team, which means it's feel free to have a one-on-one conversation, and we need to ask them what is their expectation, what is their context, or how we can help them, and how we can bring up the bridge the gap in the information we are presenting versus their expectation. And as per Scrum Guide, Scrum Master is not just for the team or the product owner. Scrum Master should serve for the organization as well. So if that is the case, yes, how we can help or serve the organization, that's what we need to figure out, and we need to address that gap.
Can I add a last point?
Sure.
See, based on the discussions, it's an improvement point or an inspect and adapt point for the Scrum Master in this context. So Scrum Master has to go through what mistakes he's making, he has to inspect, and then he has to adapt, and then bring transparency onto the table as per the empiricism pillars. So that's what after hearing all the discussions, so I came out with a kind of a end point to my perspective. So
Thanks. Thanks,
So
Vasudevan.
there are both perspectives. Whatever Vasudevan told, there are improvement areas, and there is a situation where people think my way is highway, right? No one can stop me. So that kind of attitude, people keep on escalating. So if that is going over and above, then we can talk to their respective managers and see, what is the general communication level that you are following. If anything is there, then they can tell him first before it can be reached out to the, or both next level managers can talk to each other before it get escalated to some high level. So somewhere we need to give that balancing thing also, balancing approach also. We need to talk to them and get to that understanding of offside of what you say, offline understanding to set things right. So both ways, we need to ensure. Scrum
yes,
is not always a goat to hear whatever others say and be silent when others keep on escalating, right? You need to find that balance path. I think Idris has raised his hand to share his thoughts.
sure. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
thank you. I think the major problem I see there is maybe a trust issue. So they don't trust you as a Scrum Master. And again, I think, like somebody said, we need to do like an expectation management. Maybe when we're working, you are new to the team, so maybe you need to have a team working agreement. What do you want from me? What do I want from you? So we need to manage those expectations. And also, like somebody said as well, I think even you as a Scrum Master, when you facilitate, again, you need to have an agenda. And or when you are for any workshop, anything you do, you need to have an agenda and the expected outcome. And also try as much as possible to get feedback at the end of every presentation you do so that you continue to learn as well. That's all.
Good point, Idris. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we can move forward, sir.
Sure. So the next question, how is the future of SAFE looking like? I do feel SAFE is getting diluted in many organizations in recent times. I will add my points later again. Let's make it the floor open.
Before people globalize, I see many organizations, probably they can help us understand how many organizations they have actually seen. Probably that will be helpful. Of course, whatever you ask is a very valid question, but yes.
Can I add my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
See, SAFE is diluted. Reason being is SAFE is not fully absorbed as per the framework. In my organization, they have taken SAFE, Scrum, Kanban, XP together. We have our own process. In Standard Chartered Bank, they have their own kind of a SAFE. SAFE is there, but in a different form. It's diluted, but it is taken up individually by organizations. They are customizing it based on their needs. That's what is a framework is for. I am not changing the framework, but inside what I have is my own processes and procedures and everything. They do PI planning. We also do PI planning. Everything is happening as mentioned in SAFE, but it's in a different way. We don't use the word stand up. We use Scrum. We use sprint planning. We use all the Scrum words we are using, but outer framework will look like a SAFE. We do PA planning, but it's not as intensive as how the PA planning was mentioned in the book. So we do a quarterly planning. So as per SAFE, it has to be done for 8 hours, but on full day. But we do it for a half a day. We identify our dependencies. We do our dependency sync and PO sync. And also our Scrum of Scrums is happening. So it's in a diluted form. We have taken it. We have taken the concentration of safe, added Scrum to it and Kanban to it, and then made it dilute.
No, Vasudevan, in your case, even though you customized, if it is serving your purpose, it's not getting diluted.
No,
But
it is
serving your purpose, right?
Yes, it's
creating
a purpose.
Then it's not getting. You have, I think the scenario
We
here
are
is different.
keeping the framework. Inside, we are not using the safe terms.
No, who told we have
No,
to use all the
Sharat, see, when you say getting diluted, what the context I feel is like
context is different.
they're just using the names, but not actual implementation, or like Vasudevan mentioned,
Yes.
they're not following it as mentioned in the framework. Right?
Yes.
We are taking.
It could be anything. Yes.
Yes, Satish, and we are taking few parts of safe, keeping the remaining it is in Scrum, and then just adding a framework of safe, meaning the safe framework alone we have taken, not the inside parts, not the PA planning. PA planning we are calling it as a quarterly plan. So the words might change, but the process, somewhat to an extent, we keep it as it is. We have a common 6-week sprint. 6 sprints in a quarter. 6 sprints in a quarter. Things like that. And we have everything, and then we have a quarterly objective as well. That's what the PI objectives that they are seeing. And also we have a sprint level goals as well. That ties up with our quarterly objectives. We have diluted it in such a way that it fits in our organization needs. That is what.
Just to add my thoughts here, right? Maybe it's
Sure,
not
sure.
a kind of a diluted. Maybe I feel like it's customized in a way to fulfill the specific team or organization purpose. Maybe they might have taken that best practices from SAFe, Kanban, Scrum, and Extend program, and they have customized. Maybe here and there terms might be mixing. If there is any change you personally feel it has to be made, that you can have a conversation. It's not diluted, but it is customized, I feel.
Yes, one way or the other. What is the difference between diluted and customized?
We need to understand that, yes.
Nothing much difference. You have a concentrated portion, you add water or some other liquid, becomes diluted. What are you customizing it? You're taking something from whatever you have the framework, same framework, you're taking it, you're making it your own.
See, diluted means you have customized but not serving your purpose. Okay. Whereas, customized which is serving your purpose is different. Diluted means is giving some negative meaning. I can't say meaning, that expression that something is really not working because of
It can be positive also, sir.
Yes, it can be.
Yes.
Based on the organization context.
It might not be negative. Diluted is, most of the cases, it is positive. That's what my point is here.
Yeah, so diluted again could be probably, looking at what works best for you. So using SAFe as a toolkit, and you pick the things that you think will work for you and add whatever you think will work for you from any other source. So like, for instance, I work in a situation where even within the Scrum teams, you have your delivery manager, you have different roles that are not actually part of the Scrum framework. So that is the dilution. We've mixed and matched everything together. And then at the end of the day, we say SAFe is not working. We say Scrum is not working. Scrum will not work if you superimpose some other roles and accountabilities that are not part of Scrum. SAFe will not work if you add some other things, if you've diluted it and customized it. So the customized SAFe that people are talking about is your own SAFe that is not working, not SAFe as actually prescribed by the SAFe framework.
Got it.
Thanks, Idris. Nirmala, you still have a point to add, or you're good?
No, that's what whatever everyone said, customized is
Oh.
something we personalized to meet our needs or the preferences. So that means at the end we are meeting whatever we needed. But diluted is means something we are not meeting what we expected. So I echo maybe Sharath and other person also spoke. I go with that.
Sure. Yoga Sundar.
Yeah, hi. So I just add one point here. So when it comes to SAFe or a Scrum or a Kanban, so before implementing this, first we need to understand why we are implementing this and the project. Does it require Scrum or SAFe or Kanban or whichever framework? So that should be the first question that needs to be answered first, and then we go there and implement. It is not that it's safe and everything is a buzzword. PA planning is a better way of people will be thinking like PA planning is a better way of doing planning, sprint planning. So first we need to understand the concept of what project it is and what kind of a framework that will suits into the project. And probably there are few projects that is not even required SAFe framework. If we implement Scrum itself, that will be better working. So if two projects is there working in parallel, implement two Scrum separately, and people work parallelly. So that itself will make sense. So instead of going into a PA planning, putting everything on top of the head, and people will get confused. So those things are all will happening. So right. So that's the base concept. So that's where all these customization comes into picture. So I adapted something, but I'm at the end of the day, I'm suddenly feeling that it is not working. So I'm trying to customize in such a way that it will work for my organization. So get the basic of what the project is all about, why we are implementing SAFe or Scrum or whichever framework, and see what exactly it is. And maybe we need to bring right set of people also, maybe right set of training also to to really do SAFe. Maybe if for an example, the domains like Microsoft domains where it has multiple level of streams like sales, operations, kind of 5 to different 6 set of streams has to work in parallel. So only then we will be able to deliver a product to the client at the end of the day. So if those kind of a bigger level of is there, maybe SAFe will work. So this is my perspective.
Okay, thanks, Yoga.
For the clarification, Yoga Sundar. Why? Because
Exactly.
my organization was using Scrum. We were all different Scrum teams. They wanted to align everybody and scale up as well. For that purpose, they have adapted SAFe and customized SAFe, diluted SAFe in a different perspective, so that it meets our organization's goals. So for that purpose, they have brought it. Otherwise, we would have also adapted Scrum only. That was much easier than into this, I would say. In my previous organization, as Yoga Sundar said, it was a huge organization for dealing with mortgage for US. So that company, they wanted different verticals were there. So they were converted into a bank. So banking solutions are also part of it. So to maintain it at a seamless level, say they went for complete SAFe or a full SAFe, and then we had that as well. That's what.
I think we have a species here who need to talk first. They are silent and making us talk. Huh?
I'm waiting. So let me add my thoughts. So it's not just about SAFe, right? I observed this dilution in a negative way. Till now we discussed the positive way, or what works from the context perspective. I observed the dilution in the negative way as well. So not only SAFe, the Scrum as well. So what majority of the times is happening is we get to hear the team stating that they're creating development user stories, testing user stories, DB user stories, so that they can showcase that yes, end of the sprint, we completed 10 user stories, we got 30 story points as velocity. What's the working software? Yeah, we complete only development. Testing will happen in the next sprint. Super. Welcome to waterfall way of working. That is happening at the Scrum. Now, the SAFe is much more worse. They're saying that, hey, we have 6 sprints of time. Sprint 1, analysis. Sprint 2, do the design. Sprint 3, let's start the coding. Sprint 4, do the testing. sprint 5 and do the integration. Sprint 6, which is ideally supposed to be the IP sprint, they start the fixing the bugs and they will start breaking their heads. That's not what SAFE is talking about. SAFE is talking about continuous integration, continuous deployment, not when we say the deployment, not towards completion of the PI. Everything, every sprint, within each and every sprint, we are supposed to do. So where's the gap is coming up? Half the times it is the fault of the coaches or the SPCs. I accept that. And half the time it is the gap coming from the leadership team. By the time the coach was onboarded, the leadership team assumed that yes, 6 sprints PI. Yes, we are following a quarterly release. So SAFE is the best fit. Let's start with the SAFE implementation. Team, this is your quarterly release scope. Let's break your heads how we want to do it. And that is what the teams are ending up doing it. Namesake Scrum or namesake SAFE. For that, no need to follow SAFE. You can just still do waterfall and you can still release your quarterly code or quarterly release. So the fear of missing out, or because our competitors are doing it, or because to get the more billing, or at least showcase our clients or end users that we are following Scrum, we are following SAFE, half the organizations are ending up doing all these misunderstanding or all these practices. So that's where core is stepping into that role. They will start either breaking their heads or they will start swimming with the flow. And it continues until unless someone really calls out and officially mention that, boss, whatever you're doing is wrong or not as expected. And this is how ideally it should be done. We observed this with multiple clients, multiple projects, engagements. We had one single question with them. Forget about Scrum, forget about SAFE. What is your end goal? What is it you're trying to achieve by for following Agile? Forget about Scrum, SAFE, keep it everything aside. What is it you're trying to achieve by following Agile? What's your end goal? Some say customer satisfaction, some say improving their revenue, some say like more releases or regular releases, whatever their context, right? Now let's start backtracking from there. Yes, you want to improve customer satisfaction. What's your pain points? How you want to improve it? How you want to get it done? So then if we start bringing that, yes, this is where the Scrum can help, or this is where you can go with Kanban, or maybe as Yoga and Vasudevan mentioned, yes, if it is a large complex implementation where we have lots of dependencies, lots of integrations or interactions together, that's when we can start bringing up the SAFE in the real context, not just for the namesake SAFE. That's what my thoughts.
Satish, I do agree whatever the points you mentioned, especially it should be from the leadership as well as the coaches thing also. But on the ground level, right, when we notice, it cannot happen overnight. Maybe leadership might have taken a decision, or the coaches, we have the best coaches who can help us. But when I'm working on the ground, right, overnight, I cannot change, okay, till yesterday we were following this some waterfall or Scrum, whatever it could be. So tomorrow onwards, since everyone said like SAFE, okay, we are in SAFE, and you cannot expect that the day one. The minimum it requires a couple of years to say that we are following or doing that effectively. So that's where this maybe dilution or customization, because at the end, the customer satisfaction or whatever business value we are delivering matters. See, whichever the framework we are applying, how best it is, if it's not adding any value to the customer, obviously we have to rethink. So that's like, it's a phase of implementation. Maybe after a couple of months, we have to revisit how much percentage we are traversing. That's where we can take 1 or 2 points and we can work on quarter-wise or half a year like that. I mean, that's what I personally feel.
Exactly, 100% bang on, Nirmala. So the first question for today's discussion, Vasudevan mentioned, like it took 8 months to 1 year for him as a Scrum Master to help his team stabilize from that full-fledged disturbed way of a different way, the challenges they are going through and everything, right? So for one team itself, if it is taking 8 months to 1 year of time, how would the SAFE? Right? We are talking about multiple teams coming together, working together. It's not just the teams, the leadership and the stakeholders, the vendors, third parties, everyone coming together. Definitely, it will take time. Right? So we're not magicians like overnight going ahead and saying that it's effective from tomorrow. We are all following safe. We can just make a statement. We can't make that everyone to follow and get it done. Right. So that's where that change in the mindset or the thought process, and we will start coming up with this, and it will take its own time. So last week we was there, the SPC meetup, the Scale Agile folks came at Hyderabad. So I just want to share one experience before we go ahead. Right? As a Scale Agile enterprise, they do a lot of interactions with different enterprises across the world. So our team, whom we met, they are from Asia Pacific zone. So they interact with a lot of customers in Singapore, India, and different locations, right? So for one of the client, one of the enterprise, they proposed a plan of 18 months of transformation plan for a couple of release trains. Within 2 days, another consultant, they published the similar transformation plan for 3 months. The enterprise gave the contract to the second consultant who proposed for the 3 months. We will get to know. We can obviously understand what could be the outcome. So there are a lot of different perspectives. So even the consultant who proposed in the second instance, they know that it won't work. But they're okay that, okay, yes, after 3 months, we'll get the billing, we'll move away. If not this enterprise, we'll go with next enterprise. What happens to this enterprise? They will start coming out and publishing, hey, we tried safe, it is not working, or safe is not good enough for the enterprise. That's what is happening. Right? Are you good?
I'm good, Satish.
Yes, Satish.
And if I start talking about safe, the discussion will keep on continue. Let's move ahead. Okay. Next question. Experienced BA worked as Scrum Master for a short span and moved to other company as BA again. Then getting opportunity to work as Scrum Master again due to non-availability of BA or PO role. How to take this lesson confidently? This looks like a panelist situation, not a candidate situation. Wow, this is interesting. Yes.
Rajesh, can you repeat the question once again?
Yeah, experienced business analyst worked as a Scrum Master for a short span, moved to another company as a business analyst again. Then they are not getting an opportunity, so they want to work as a Scrum Master because no availability of a business analyst or product owner role. So how we can take this Scrum Master into our project confidently that they will continue playing the role of a Scrum Master?
Okay.
It's an interesting situation.
So to understand the question again, so this person is going in as a Scrum Master, but then because of the non-availability of PO and BA.
Let me take my example. I am working as a business analyst. I moved to a Scrum Master role and I switched to a company. Now in the new company, I'm not getting the role of a business analyst or product owner. So again, I want to go back to the Scrum Master. Now, if you are the panelist or if you are the project manager or the client, how can you confidently take me as a Scrum Master into your project? What's the guarantee that I won't switch the role again, or I won't switch back to business analyst role?
I think that is a personal issue. So I think it depends on the person. How confident are you as a Scrum Master? Do you know basically what Scrum is all about? Because I've seen situations where most Scrum Masters just believe that once I facilitate all the Scrum events, I'm a Scrum Master. And so they don't actually know the foundations of Scrum, empiricism and everything. So you need to go back and reassess yourself. Do I know everything I need to be a Scrum Master? And if you think, yeah, you're comfortable enough or you're ready to continuously improve as well, take it. I mean, you've had some little experience. Take it and see how you can develop yourself. And again, so meetups like this and every other meetup will help you build your confidence. That's all from me.
Satish,
Nirmala?
Satish, if it is from the panelist point of view, then I think it is, I would say, like better not to go with this candidate with the SM opportunity, because it is, if just for the sake of opportunity, if he's transitioning from BAPO opportunity to an SM role, because like his skills, his strength, his or her strength may be more towards the product or the requirement elucidation or the BA skills. But just for the sake of opportunity, wanting to move from or into an SM role where it involves a lot of interpersonal aspect and people skills, then I think from panelist point of view, I would say like better to not go ahead with this candidate. But just that is just my opinion. If it is from the panelist point of view.
Sure. Nirmala, you raised your hand before Yoga Sundar.
But my understanding here in this question is like from the Scrum Master perspective, who transitioned from the BA to Scrum Master, again Scrum Master to that one. So I mean, if the person has a self-doubt whether I should go for it, as I have worked only short span of time, without any hesitation, they can confidently go ahead and take that role if he or she is interested to do. That is what their passion towards. But otherwise, since the role is available, or I do not have any option, or I have to compromise for the job sake, maybe they have to rethink and then take a decision. But once they take the decision to go ahead, they have to give their 100%. From the panelist perspective also, I believe we can give a opportunity, because if I'm not wrong, there was no Scrum Master role initially. Most of the people, maybe these days there is a dedicated Scrum Master, but most of the people either they transitioned from developer to Scrum Master, BA to Scrum Master, or QA to Scrum Master. So here the person already worked as a BA and then Scrum Master. Actually, that's a good combination. So they are the right person also. If they get an opportunity, they'll be able to make it.
And it looks like there is a follow-up question or continuation of the same question. So opportunity to work as Scrum Master again. So how to take this SM opportunity confidently, and what should be the learning to be taken? Yes. So now we are getting a different point or different perspective as well as a candidate, as an individual. So how I can take up that as Scrum Master opportunity? I'm not getting the business analyst or product owner roles or opportunities. How can I take the Scrum Master opportunity confidently? Yes. Nirmala, you just answered that point. Thanks for that.
If I could just add to that, based on the new information, again, like I said, so you have very good meetups like this one and other meetups, and also look for a mentor. Look for mentor to somebody that can guide you and lead you through the entire process. I think that's just what you need. I mean, you've done it before. You are a business analyst. You've attended most of the Scrum events and ceremonies, and you know exactly what happens there. So just get a mentor. It all depends on you. Do you want to take it or not? And are you willing to learn or not? That's it. Yeah.
Yes. Correct. Thanks for that. Yes, Yoga.
I would just add a point of people switching role. From my perspective, unfortunately, very unfortunately, Scrum Master roles is considered as a very low valued kind of a role. So that is where people are getting excited that I want to switch to a Scrum Master. By the time they come to a Scrum Master and they feel that they are conducting 4 daily scrums and events and then going back and solving people events, they are not able to prove themselves as a Scrum Master, and then that's the reason they are switching back. And organization perspective also, they are not valuing Scrum Master as it is. So Scrum Master from our perspective, we all know, right? It is a pretty hectic job. So there are a lot of that we cannot, unfortunately, able to measure the role of a Scrum Master. So now how can we measure our mother? We cannot able to measure our mother, right? She may have done a lot of things. But when we say measure, what is it we can say? Well, she's cooking, she's going and then doing puja. That's all. 3 jobs. But there is, without that, nothing is there. So organization perspective also, I honestly feel, I would think over a period of time, it will get better. Unfortunately, Scrum Master are valued very, very low.
Excellent, excellent. Yuga, you compared Scrum Master with a mother. That's a really excellent way of comparison, because like some things we can't measure, or something we can't what do you say, articulate the value or the outcome, but without which you won't be able to get the actual business value or the business benefits. Yes.
Yeah, I think there are different perspectives here, right? Scrum Master might got valued very low in few of the organizations. There are thousands of organizations where it is working completely well in those organizations where Scrum Master has a bigger role to play, and he is doing his or her responsibilities very well. Where the Scrum Master role is partially used in some organizations, where the Scrum Master role is very less used in the organization, depending on the type of project. So Scrum Masters are valued very low is a generic statement. So instead of that, we have different categories. Even today, if you see the JDs, job descriptions for most of the organization, they are asking Scrum Master to participate in giving that opportunity in various areas, not just doing the ceremonies and ensuring that they are delivering properly, not just the basic response, right? So to my knowledge, every Scrum Master, I mean, no role is permanent. Okay, the frameworks themselves will keep evolving over a period of time along with the roles. Already we are seeing technical Scrum Masters, some people getting some other titles, and they are mixing the roles, right? So no role is permanent. If you look in that larger perspective, right, all Scrum Masters should not look at the narrow view. They need to have a broader view. So from product side, what I can learn, from the business analyst side, what I can learn, from the technology side, what I can learn, the operations perspective, what I can learn. Okay, I'm implementing Scrum in IT. How can I implement in HR? How can I implement in supply chain? How can I implement in pharma? How can I implement within the tax department? So continuously and consistently, a Scrum Master and a coach has to think in those lines, like how can I better myself? How can I make more effective? So that when the opportunity comes, they can be able to manage these roles effectively. Of course, they might or might not get the opportunity. They have to justify the current roles, and they need to have very good understanding and exposure to those multiple roles or multiple hats, right? So that when you get suddenly an opportunity for a BA, you can be able to do that well. Or when you are again switching back, because you are understanding the current trends, you can be able to do the Scrum Master role well. So it's not that easy, but we need to be a consistent learner to keep our things going. Don't just stick to one role. Experiment other roles also.
So just to add on one small point, I mean, we have a follow-up question. I mean, the next question as well on the combination of these roles or the different roles coming together. So one point every time, generally in these type of discussions, what I mention is like, as an individual, we need to identify what is our strength. Are we ready to play that role, or sometimes the dual roles or the combination of roles? Right, so that is what we need to start understanding. And generally, I will give a generic example of this cricket, like Dhoni, the way how he plays the roles of a wicket keeper, captain, and the specialist batsman or the finisher, whatever we call him. It's not easy for other cricketers to play the multiple roles or dual roles together so effectively. Right? We have lots of such examples from the generic perspective. So it is up to the individual to identify that, yes, of course, that getting that confidence will take time, but we need to take a chance. We need to make use of that opportunity. And as I just mentioned, identify a mentor, have a conversation, how you can get that confidence or how you can get that comfort level to start playing those roles. That's when we can get the benefit out of it. And Sharath just now mentioned, the roles are keep on evolving. Tomorrow, what if like we'll say no agile? We will bring something else. What do we do? Shall we say, no, I'm only the scrum master, I'm only the coach, I'm only the product owner? No, it might not work. The roles evolve, the technology is evolving accordingly. The roles, the way, it's not just about the roles, right? It's about the how we are helping the organizations deliver the products or the implementation. That is what is evolving with the help of the technologies. Now we are seeing different examples of how the companies are making use of the AI tools and delivering the entire product or websites or the applications within a day. What does it mean? It might not be in a sprint. It might be a 1 day sprint or 1 day planning and getting the execution done. So if that is the case, what's next? It might not be even a 2 week sprint. Forget about safe then. Right? So the way how the technologies or the way of working is evolving, the roles also might evolve. So we need to figure out how confidently we can go ahead with the roles. What's our strength? There are different personality assessment tests. Reach out to me. I can help you, whoever it is, to connect to that specialist or who can help with having that conversations, and we can take it further. Okay.
I just want to share my experience when I worked in 2019, 2020, I believe. I used to work with one of the companies for 6 months, where it's a kind of startup. So they have usually, they have budget constraints, right? So they used to have product owner and scrum master, only one person wearing multiple hats, where practically it happened. And I used to see he used to struggle because 6 to 8 hours he used to work for different aspects. He used to work for the product owner role, and same that guy only used to do as a scrum master. Of course, he diluted both the roles. There were some challenges which they faced, and we educated, and it took a certain amount of time for them to help understand that we need a dedicated scrum master and how the roles are getting diluted, and things are not getting delivered as expected. But my feeling, based on my experience, what I see is somewhere down the line in coming years, product owner and scrum master roles are going to merge. I bet on this, but this is my personal opinion. Somewhere due to, you can call it budget constraint, or you can call it effective functioning of a scrum master, giving him the individual product. Every scrum master is given some product to handle end to end. So some changes will definitely come because of these, because of the role that scrum master is playing. Not in all organizations, actually. These will come as a customized roles.
Okay, let's go ahead. I'm marking both the questions as answered. Now comes the 2 questions on the, again, the combination of roles. Working in Agile, I don't understand what is the difference between a project manager and a scrum master. As my project manager feels like both PM and SM, is there any differentiation truly between both?
So project management is a role more coming out from waterfall, and Scrum Master is from the Scrum. So it is more external facing. So I would say the project manager role is more overlapping with the role of a product owner, and the people aspect of project management role is more inward focused, that falls under Scrum Master. So there are dual responsibilities that a project manager used to do, which has been split across multiple roles. Like project manager does the planning, coordination, tracking, monitoring, and he also sometimes take care of people management, and he also takes care of budgeting, forecasting. So that role, the responsibility of project management role has been split across multiple roles, some falling under the purview of product owner, some coming under the Scrum Master, and some going to a business analyst. So there is overlap, but there is also like a significant difference in the primary responsibility of both these roles. And I don't know like why in Scrum team we need to have a project manager. Maybe at a program level, there could be some project or program manager who is looking at external stakeholder management. But within the Scrum team, the role of a project manager is kind of obsolete, or it might not be needed.
I will come to that point once we have the other pointers, Vilmani. Yes, Vasudevan? Vasudevan, you raise your hand.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yes, sure.
Sorry. See, sorry, I missed something. Just give me a minute.
Sure.
Okay, fine. See, initially I played a role of a project manager before I took up the Scrum Master role. So I know the distinction between the both. There is more command and conquer. Command and control is more in the project management role, and you have wider areas as well. So you have to be part of the initiation, and then the planning, and then even the execution part, monitoring and controlling lies with you, and you have to be constantly on communication with the all the levels of stakeholders, and finally closing the projects, the billing, costing, everything comes under your head, and even scheduling the whole plan, the scope change, scope creep, whatever. But as a Scrum Master, you also have to manage all this because you're giving matrices to the organization at the organization level or at the project level. We have in Agile, we have someone called a delivery manager who takes care of the higher levels of deliveries and things like that. Whereas the Scrum team, Scrum Master takes care of the whatever the iteration that we are planned for. Mostly going through the iterations and then making sure that the iteration goal is achieved, and we also part of the releasing the increment, and that is also part of the Scrum Master's role. That's what I mainly do it. So project manager sits at one level above the Scrum Master, and a project manager who is ready to shed his command and control coat and wear a servant leadership coat, he becomes a great Scrum Master or a courageous Scrum Master. That's what because I have shed out my command and control coat, and I wore a servant leadership coat where I became more close to the team. There is more interaction and things were happening. So when I initially took up the role of a Scrum Master way back in 2014 with Citibank, I was doing the command and control role. It didn't work. For initial sprints or 3 sprints or even for 6 sprints, it didn't work. And after that, I got the groove that, okay, there is no point of command and control or just saying this and that. No. Where the role of a servant leader, then things started working. And in Citibank, they don't have dual roles. So they don't have dual roles of a Scrum Master and a project manager. You play a project manager hat when you're with your project director. You play the role of a Scrum Master when you're with. So you have to maintain both the schedule, cost, and things in one tool, and you have to track your user stories in another tool. So that's what I can do. That's what I have experienced. This is my total experience that I'm talking about here. Thanks.
Thanks for that pointer, Swazan. You mentioned the coat. Generally, we people call it as a hat because it is just easy to switch the hat. But you mentioned as a coat. We know it's not easy to shed the coat and wear another coat. It takes its own time and effort. Definitely, thanks for adding your pointers and experience. Okay, who would like to go next?
If I could just add to what you said as well, so the project number one, we need to again start looking at changing from the project mindset to the product mindset. Project basically has a start date and an end date. A product is continues until you decide to take the product out of the market. And then, so your project manager basically, like you rightly said, they basically go there and they have total control, command and control. A Scrum Master is a true leader that serves, according to what it's called now. You're a true leader that serves. And you are more about establishing Scrum as established in the Scrum Guide, and then you serve the team, you serve the product owner, and you serve the Scrum Master. A project manager doesn't serve anybody; it commands everybody. And it's the one that assigns you what you need to do. Scrum is based on self-managing teams. You let people choose what they want to do. So that mindset, and I think again that's one of the major problems that some organizations have. They just, took all the project managers, turned them into Scrum Masters or product owners, and they come into all the Scrum events. Daily Scrum, for instance, and they're the ones asking questions and talking about, they talk more than even the developers in the Daily Scrum. So, I think to me, that's the major difference. And that's why you need a total mindset change to move from being a project manager to a Scrum Master. You need that mindset shift. That's all from me.
Yeah,
Thanks, Idris, for that. Okay, looks like something got changed. Okay, just a minute. Anyone else want to add anything? I could see a few silent spectators today. You want to add any pointers? Naresh, Jaisudha, Nilesh, Ramya, Prasad, Vishwanath, Umesh, Sripati, Satish.
I am playing an anonymous questionnaire, so I'm shooting many questions today.
Wow, thanks for that, Sripati. Even that helps. Okay, yes. Sureka, you want to add any points? Yes.
What is my observation between the project, because I played both the roles, project manager as well as Scrum Master. So my observation is, when you are a project manager, your involvement is not only with the stakeholders and not only with focusing on what is the increment, but also with the people management, the budget management, and moreover your stakeholders, internal and external stakeholder management. Of course, in the Scrum Master role, you will also have the coordination and collaboration with the stakeholders, but those are very much related to the increment or the goal of the sprint. But here, not only the goal of the sprint, you will be involved in n number of things. At least in the service companies that I have the experience, you will involve in outside activities like not only the metrics or people management, the budgeting, or you will have a post production. You need to give some kind of support, and how that will be contracting. Even you play the RFP kind of role, where you will be looking at the budget, estimating, and giving the recommendation or giving the deck for presentations. So a lot of other hats you will be putting when you are playing the project manager role. But this Scrum Master is very much dedicated to the Scrum related activities and the meeting the goal. Mainly his focus is, how can my Scrum team will be enabled in order to achieve the goals, and how can I help my POs, my team, and my product owner, my team, my PO, and my customers. So these are the main focus areas, where the project manager is a wide area that they have to involve into. And it's a schedule, it's a budget, it's quality, It's everything. I'm not telling that Scrum Master will not look into the quality and all, but wide area of responsibilities will be there for the project managers.
Thanks,
This is
thanks,
my
Rekha. Definitely. Thanks for that. And just to add on, along with all these aspects, so there are few of the people aspects coming to the context. Of course, we might not be happy with the title or the designation as a project manager, but the manager, a typical people's manager or technical manager, what are the role they are playing, they have their own responsibilities, their own the people aspects. The onboarding, offboarding of the team members, or hiring a new team members in case someone is moving out, or what if we are expanding in adding new team members or new teams. So there is where the project managers help, and that's not the thing, right? Just the quarterly connects or the yearly appraisals, the hikes, a bonus, lots of aspects where the project manager or the typical manager takes care of all these things, in addition to the pointers which all of the folks mentioned, which where the Scrum Master will not be involved, or it's not the responsibility of a Scrum Master. That's where the Scrum Master works more at the team level, and the project manager might be working a step ahead or step above the team level, might be for couple of teams, project manager, or maybe at a product level, a project manager might be working. There are different aspects why still the manager roles are there within the organization, or how they are bringing value add to the organization or overall implementation perspective, along with the scheduling, budgeting, RFPs, SOWs, whatnot, lot of other things, plus the stakeholder engagement or the client interactions, different things where Scrum Master might not be involved or might not be focused on. That's where the responsibility of the project manager might be coming up. Right? And the next follow-up question is the role combo of project manager and Scrum Master is also in charge of meeting billing milestones. The billing milestones is achieved by delivering features or user stories. Is this a common practice in all companies? Anyone want to take it up?
Yeah, I think it's one of the additional responsibilities which project manager usually ensure, right? Because that directly impacts their cost center and the budget that they have, right? Versus how much they are getting at the end of the while they are planning to close that MVP or that phase. So definitely, this is one of the core. I mean, this is one of the common practice across all the companies. I mean, according to my observation, in fact, let me say, when I say all companies, global companies will count. My experience, I saw that as a common practice.
Especially with the service companies, if I have to mention that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you're right. Because product organization, they do internally, but it is not exposed. But in service companies, it is exposed. That role is very much exposed to all the team members.
And the billing milestones, sometimes even in the product companies also, what my observation or my experience is like, it will come like, see, in the service companies, this will come for the billing, the number of hours or the number of user stories or the number of features delivered end of the sprint or release or quarter is being tracked from the billing perspective. Whereas in the product companies, this is tracked in a different way, like what is our planned budget, or what is our planned features, or the number of features, or the number of based from the release perspective, versus what is completed towards end of the quarter or the release timelines. So that used to be tracked, but it might not be from the billing perspective, but it is from the planning versus the actuals. The planned versus actual is what it happens in the product-based companies as well. Okay, yes. Anyone else want to add a point?
I think we need to do the time boxing.
Yes. Yeah, good. We have only 2 more questions. Okay. Okay, this is about the tool Miro. Product roadmap templates in Miro. Sample or the difference between product strategy and product roadmap. How to do it practically? Some sample templates, please, on high level. Anyone has experience of using Miro templates? Yes, Waslim, please go ahead.
So I have used Miro for the quarterly planning. That's what I used. So we have a standard template, but for product and roadmap, they have to. If you go for the enterprise version, they have few templates for product roadmap, whatever they have asked. Yes, product roadmap templates. It's available in Miro, but you have to go for the enterprise version because I am not from the product side. I'm from the Scrum side, so I may not be the right person. A product owner or a product manager can assist on this question. So I've used Miro. Baby steps only.
It's actually my question. So basically, we have this enterprise Miro version. When I go there, there will be a lot of templates that are available, but it is confusing. So I just need someone who used already, so that is a little easier to use.
So you if you want to ask, maybe you can have a conversation with your product owner, Yoga, and ask them, hey, what template is more relevant from our conversation perspective? So you can have a one-on-one conversation with your product owner, and you can say, hey, these are the 2 templates I came across. What do you think could be more relevant from our context perspective or for our conversation? You can have a conversation, and because they are the ones who know what should be the strategy or what should be the roadmap template. And I guess I got your point, like out of all the available templates, which could be more relevant or which could be more easy or the more common one to use, right?
Yes. So actually,
Yes.
one more thing is like my BA converted into PO. So he she don't have more idea about this template.
Sure. So see, my funda is simple. The first value statement of Agile Manifesto. Individuals and interactions over process and tools. So the same applies for the Miro or a template as well. So as long as you are having that conversation coming up with what is the strategy or what the roadmap looks like, you're good. Maybe 1 or 2 sprints or 1 or 2 releases will get the clarity on which template to use. Or you can just play around, you can just make use of it and see what could be more relevant to your context. Or alternately, you can start having a conversation with other product owners or maybe someone else from the product side or the architect who can help in you just need to figure out what template would be more useful. And Miro, if I am okay, I think different thing, but in one of the tool, I don't remember which one, there is Miro or different thing, but it used to give the numbers like these many times this template was used or these many users were using this template. I'm not sure whether it is Miro or Mural, but one of these tools, it used to give, as soon as you choose the type of template, it will give these many number of users or use this template. So it is like the most popular thing. Yes, you can give it try it once, you will get an idea whether it is working your context or not. And does it answer your question, Yoga?
Yes, it is. Thanks.
Okay, good. Okay. Yes. The last question for the day. I've been trying to get into Scrum Master position for 1 year, done CSM certification. Any suggestions to crack interview?
Get a mentor.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Satish, I'm dropping down. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks, Jared. Anyone else?
If I could quickly drop, I think again, like I said, so this is a very good platform to learn, because basically everything we discussed on this platform are your standard interview questions. And you can hear people talking from experience. And because when you go for interviews, nobody wants to know about the theoretical part of what you've read in the Scrum Guide or wherever. They want to know the practical aspects, because that is what they want. And, if you have a mentor, like I said as well, get a mentor, join so many meetups, ask questions and participate in answering the questions. It's easy. It's better for you to talk here and you make a mistake and you are corrected. And just listening and not talking and then going to the interviews and then not knowing what to say. So participate in all these meetups and you'll continue to build your confidence. Interviews is all about confidence. Build your confidence, participate in all these meetups, and I'm not saying the first interview you'll get it, but then again, each interview is a learning process. So attend one interview, learn from your mistakes, build on that mistake, correct yourself, and then something will happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Saitis. Definitely, that's what one of the reasons why we started having these lean coffee connect sessions. That way, like each scenario or each question we are discussing, we can assume we can consider the interview question, and you can start sharing your thoughts or the thought process or the pointers. And obviously, we can learn from others' experience, other perspective as well, right? So both the things, it helps. Just the way we frame the answer or the way we frame the sentence and sharing with others, and we can get to hear from others' experience, others' perspectives as well. That way it helps. And the reason why I, as an individual, take part in a lot of meetups or events or the conferences, whether it is in person or virtual, that is to help me understand or get to learn from others' experience perspectives. We might not have enough time to do all the experiments and exploration on our own. So we may have to learn from others' experiences, perspectives as well. That's where all these pointers helps. And recently we did one session where we shared some pointers on how an individual can start preparing for an interview. We shared different tips, techniques, or pointers. Just now I shared the session link in the chat. Take a look at it and you can come back and you can have a conversation if in case you need any questions or you need any clarifications regarding that. I haven't shared any questions or how to what to answer or how to answer, but we shared different techniques or different tips, pointers in that conversation. Take a look at it and we can discuss further on it as well. Yogasundar?
Yeah, I would like to add one point here. So basically, when we are looking into any jobs or a position, don't try to, if you are new to Scrum, my first advice will be don't use ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will give a lot of, data. You will get confused with what it is exactly. So if I give a simple example, if you give me a user story template that contains integration PBI, it will give integration user stories. And then if you ask ChatGPT to remove the integration from the user story, it will remove the integration and give a user story. So now how come you do a payment gateway without integration? So what we usually can do is don't go with ChatGPT, learn from books, learn from people. So that is one. Learn the concept, try to find your way of expressing. So that is more important. And then probably, see, from my experience, I never looked into any interview questions. I just looked into a concept of What is sprint planning? Why we are doing sprint? It is all about the simple question of asking what, why, and how. Putting that perspective on the see fine. Maybe we write it and then go to the book and read and ask the people and get it, and then do. So if you most of the people that I find is they take the interview questions and they started preparing and then they're going over there and attending the interview. So people will, by the time you say the first 10 sentence, people will guess you are the book reader or you are this one. So it's all should come from an experience. So basically this is my take on.
Thanks, Yogasundar. So many times I get questions or one-on-one calls or messages saying that, Satish, this is the interview question I got. What should I answer? Can you share from your experience or can you share from your perspective? I said, no, it's not my experience or it's not my perspectives. It should be your experience or your perspectives or what is your thought process. So I generally give this example like this Lageraho Munnabai. I don't want to be a Gandhi in that Lageraho Munnabai movie. What if you get a different question or what if you get a follow-up question? How will you answer? You just listen to some recordings or some sessions of interview question and answers. Go ahead. This is not our college. This is not our school where we just read that guides or question banks and prepare and go and give the exams. No, that's not what the agile or that's not what the organizations are expecting. So we need to be able to understand, what's the challenges or the context or the different situations, scenarios comes up in the project. How do you handle, how do you tackle? That is what the panelists, how do you as an individual respond, react, or handle, take care of the situation? That is what the companies or organizations are expecting, will be looking for, will be interested in. It's not like if I go for interview, if I say, this is what Yogasundar's experience, or this is what Idris' experience, this is what Vasudevan's experience, I can't say that. They will ask like, okay, so what next? Or what if this happens? Can I go back and ask Yogasundar or Vasudevan to say, hey, no, this is the next question I got as a follow-up question. What should I answer? No, it won't work that way. So, and as all of us mentioned, it's not just about Scrum Guide, it's not just about CSM or the frameworks. It's not just about the terminology, not about the theory. It's all about how we as an individual help the team improve their way of working or getting their products or the project or implementation successful. That is what the organizations are focused on or interested in. So during the interviews, this is what the panelists should be focusing on. Can I hire this individual and will this individual be able to help my teams, my organization succeed in our expectation or in our project or in our product implementation? That is what the panelists should be focused on. It's not about what you answer. It's not about whether you answered all the questions correct or not.
Satish, can you repeat the point previously what you said? Sorry.
Which point? Which point was? No, I'm just telling that.
The last point about the panelist selection.
Hey, the panelist, yes, the panelist will be focused on, if in case I'm the panelist and Vasudevan is a candidate attending for the interview, can Vasudevan be fitting in the role for what we are hiring? We as a panelist or whoever is the panelist, they know what's the project context, what is the organization context, what's the maturity level of the team, where is the team right now, and how the challenges or the mentality or the thought process of the team. So they will try to identify an individual who can be a best fit. It might not be the perfect, but who can be a best fit for that specific role.
Yes.
Right. So sometimes if it is a well-established team, even a new Scrum Master might be able to help the team continue maintain the momentum. But what if the team itself is going through a lot of trouble, lot of challenges, lot of distractions and deviations and pushbacks? Then definitely a new Scrum Master or someone who is trying to enter into the game might not be able to help. Or sometimes even if I'm giving the interview, I might not be getting shortlisted. That doesn't mean I'm not suitable or I'm not capable of playing that role of Scrum Master, right? I might not be the fit for that specific role or for that specific context. We need to understand that. When we say we are not shortlisted, we are not getting selected in the interview, that doesn't mean we're not a good Scrum Master, we are not capable of getting a job. No. We might not be a fit for that specific role.
Okay.
Right. So it's Vasudevan, Vasu, I'm just taking your name, right? So
No
you
problem.
mentioned that how you helped the team stabilized in 8 months to 1 year of time in your experience, right? I as a panelist might be expecting or might be looking for something else. So
Yeah.
I might say, yes, Vasudevan, your experience is looking good, but we won't be able to hire you, or we won't be able to take you into this project. That doesn't mean Vasudevan is not a perfect or effective, efficient Scrum Master. No, he is not just suitable for that role. We need to understand that.
For that project at that position, I'm not.
Exactly. Exactly. That's it. Right? Are you good?
Yeah, all good. We are out of time. Sorry, I have one more.
Yes. Yes, please go ahead, Rashwin.
Yeah. See, what you said is correct. I may not be fit for, because I've cracked so many interviews, I've lost so many interviews. So, how to read the pulse of that from the interviewer or the panel? Is it possible to read that, or is it difficult to read that?
To some extent, it is possible. To some extent, it could be tough. So, there are different aspects, different parameters involved in that. So it might need some time to discuss. We can continue in the next conversation, or maybe we can have one-on-one conversation as well on this.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Yeah, because sometimes we are planning to do some sort of a role plays as well around this, just to give a feel of how different particular panelists or the mindset or the mentality of the panelists come into context. Sometimes I, as an individual, I might be going on smooth. Hey, yes, whatever you say, yes, I accept. Or whatever you say, yes, excellent, perfect. Sometimes I myself, the same panelist, same individual, but hey, it won't work in our context. It's not a perfect answer. I don't agree with you. So the panelist also might play based upon the context of the project or that specific role. We need to discuss on that in detail, Vasudevan.
Sure.
Okay. Yes. Yes, star approach definitely helps any point of time, Nilesh. What's the situation, what's the task, and what's the action or the activity you took, and what's the result, what's the response or the outcome. Definitely star approach helps any role, not just the Scrum Master role, right? So any role, the star approach helps. And that's what even I recommend or I follow as well. Okay, yes. We already crossed 3 minutes of the time. So any feedback or any pointers before we wrap up? And we will share the recording of the session. I already shared the playlist where we upload the recordings. So you can take a look at it. Most probably by tomorrow, we will be sharing the recording. Any last minute pointers or feedback before we wrap up?
Excellent session, Satish.
Thanks for that. And thanks for all your active participation. It's not just our side, right? We are just facilitating it.
Thank you, Satish.
And one small point or update from our side. We already mentioned in the meetup link. So all of you who have participated, you will be eligible for 2 Scrum education units. We will share the link most probably by tomorrow for your registered email address. If it is the same email address associated with any of your Scrum Alliance certifications, you will be eligible to climb that 2 Scrum education units. This is our first session. We got that approval from Scrum Alliance. So going ahead, every session we will get that Scrum education units as well.
In
Hey.
future, can we expect PMI also? PDUs from
PMI, yeah, PMI, we are working with the PMI team as well, or PMI board as well, Sripati. They have different approach. We are working on that as well. But reach out to me one-on-one. I can share the pointers how we can claim as a self-education units. We can still go ahead and do that. Might not be
great,
officially,
great.
but we can still go ahead and do that.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
And
Thank you.
Satish, like, I am posting some internal job openings in our group.
Sure.
So
Sure.
Any openings for Scrum Master?
but as of now, it's not there. I'll check on later.
Okay.
Probably I'll just keep posting in that PDF document. Probably you can check that was there.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank
Yes, Nilesh.
Yeah, anything on VSM coming up?
Validation mapping?
Yeah.
Yes, we will plan one session on that.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all.